Hey everyone, my name is Omraj, and in today's session we have a very special guest, Vaibhav. He's from Class 24, and in today's session we are going to discuss everything about UI UX and most of the question that is being asked around UI UX and some of the misconceptions people have in the design field. So we are going to discuss everything in today's podcast. So without wasting any time, let's get started with this podcast. Um, Hi Vaibhav.
Hi Omraj, I am pretty good. तुम कैसे हो बताओ?
I am also doing good. So let's have a quick introduction.
Okay, so as Omraj just introduced me, my name is Vaibhav, and I am a product designer at Cars 24 right now. I have a total of around 2+ years of experience in product design, and my background is non-design. Like I'm coming from an engineering background, so like my journey from engineering to design has been like something to discuss about obviously. So, like other than designing, I love to read about current affairs and philosophy, psychology, sociology also. Like to be on on a larger basis, if you would say. And so yeah, those are some of my interests.
And also adding to that, Vaibhav is a really creative person. To be honest, I have worked with Vaibhav for 1 year, so I've seen some of the creativity in design as well as in content. So yeah, I have a really great experience working with Vaibhav in my past. So yeah, so let's get started. Let's have a quick question that most of the people don't understand exactly, like what is design. So for some of the engineers, or if I'm a front end developer, so I have that understanding of design. It's just like having a Figma file. So let's understand what exactly design is, and how a designer understand design.
Yeah, so like design, if you could see from a macro point of view, like from a Eagles point of view on it, so I would simply say that it is a creative problem solving. So, like many people nowadays feel that design is just about a Figma file or maybe just a file that you're working on. You have some wireframes, you have some final design that you need to ship to the tech team so that they can be developed, and at the end of the day, you can get the users on your platform. But like to be honest, design is like more, obviously that is a part of design, but design on a larger level would be sometimes when you will not even be using Figma at all. Like there will be many problems in the company that you will be working on, and you will not be using Figma at all. There will be some moments when you will be just understanding the problem, understanding the people, brainstorming about the different solutions that you might be having, and um, at the end of the day, like what I feel, design is just a tool to solve a problem. There might be different tools through which you can solve a problem, but design is one of those. And in fact, like if you would see on the social level, there is one of the concepts which is design for the social systems. So like some of the policies that are being made in the government level or in the bureaucratic level, those are also made using design thinking. If you would see for that, say you if you are making a policy for like working on the poverty of your locality, like how can you reduce the poverty of your area, we will be researching about that thing. You will be making a stakeholder mapping, like how are the poverty struck people dependent on different stakeholders. You might be ideating on how what might be the different ways. You might also be using the competitive benchmarking. You would be seeing some other societies who have actually decreased the poverty in the recent times. So you would be using design thinking in that way as well. You're not using Figma, you're not using XD at all. Sometimes you might also not be using sketching as a whole. So yeah, those are some of the things which are being done. And design at the end of the day, as I just said, it is a creative problem solving.
Okay. That's pretty insightful. Where like most of the people don't understand in that perspective. Like design can be understand in solving majorly so many problems out there that you actually included, like in government policies as well. So understanding your user or maybe your citizens. So getting understanding, I think that helps you in design as well. So
Yes, yes. At the end of the day, you just need to understand the behavior of the people for whom you're designing, because like that is a major difference between art and design. Art is not something which is a utilitarian thing. You are not, at the end of the day, you are not supposed to get any outcome of that thing. There are no particular target audience that are going to use your art at the end of the day. Your art communicates the things that are within you. But design is something that you are making something for utility at the end of the day. You are making something for the target audience.
All right. That's pretty insightful and kind of people don't understand exactly design, but I think this gives a perspective. Like we can understand design in that particular way as well. So yeah, that's pretty much good. I believe people get a lot of understanding of design as well. So okay, moving to the further part, like in the tech field, like we usually see like we have a lot of UI UX design, like UI designer or user experience designer. So different fields or different roles out there are most popular in tech field. And now let's understand like what is the difference between UI and UX, how everything works. And I believe most of the misconception people have, like a UI UX designer do this much only, like they just have to design Figma only. So let's understand like what exactly the UI UX designer is doing and what exactly UI UX means.
Okay, so like if you would see, like agar we will take an entire product pod as a whole. So like in many companies there are product pod in which in one pod there are many people who are working on a particular problem. There might be a product manager, there might be a product designer, there might be a dedicated UI designer, there might be a UX designer, there might be a UX researcher in that pod as well. So like everybody has a different role. If you would see the product designer somewhere somehow takes the responsibility of both UI and UX, and also understands how product works on the other, like discussing with the other stakeholders as well. If you would talk about the UX designer will majorly be working on making the wireframes or like ideating on how a person can solve a problem, working on the design systems, or like if it is aesthetically pleasing or not. That might not be one of the SOPs of UX designer. इस वाली चीज को स्टार्टिंग से करता हूँ मैं, ठीक है?
हाँ, तो मैं एक बार फिर से क्वेश्चन
हाँ
पूछूं.
हाँ हाँ, फिर से कर लो।
Okay. So let's moving on to what exactly UI UX means, because in tech world we usually see designers like they have a role of UI UX or some other designer. So let's understand what exactly UI UX design mean and what exactly these designers are actually doing. So most of the people just know like they just have to design the Figma file and they just have to do that only. So let's understand that as well. What exactly people do in a UI UX role.
Yeah, so like if I would explain you about the entire terminologies of like different designation that a person holds in a product team. So like if I would talk about one product pod, one product pod in general, like in many of the companies nowadays, there is one product manager, there is a product designer, or a UX designer and UI designer, or UX UI designer, or a UX researcher. So like if I would explain you the entire journey of a problem solving, so one problem might be induced from a user or might be induced from a business. So if it is induced from the business, it is generally brought by the product manager. If it is induced by one of the users, or maybe through the UX research, so it is brought in by the UX researcher. The problems are brought in, the insights are brought in, like how exactly does a person react to one thing, what are the behaviors of the user, what is the empathy, like there are different tools that they use, empathy mapping, the user journey mapping, and a lot of other tools that the UX researchers use. So they bring in all the data to the UX researcher or the product designer. So like they analyze the entire problem, they start to understand like what are the things that they need to solve, what exactly is the result or the goal that they need to achieve, what might be the KPI that might define the success of that particular um, problem that they are solving. Then they start ideating on that, like they might make the wireframes, they might make the basic designs of those things, they might test it on the users or on the different tools that they can use, usertesting.com, or they can simply go to the user to test it in the very initial time. Once they get the insights on that thing, once they are once they validated their hypothesis, so if it is a UX designer, they will simply pass that thing to the UI designer. The UI designer will do the touch up. They will understand like how do they need to follow the design system in order to make a deliverable design, high fidelity design. If it is a product designer, so most of the product designers are efficient, or like they are skilled enough to make the UIs on their own as well. So in many of the companies nowadays, there is one single product designer who works on the UX and UI completely. In some of the companies, if they are looking for a specialized role, so they have a UX designer and one specialized UI designer. So that is how things are working in different companies. In some of the small scale companies where the product, where the design team is not that big, so they are looking for some generalized role, which is one of the roles in product designing. If companies are big like Microsoft or Google, so they have specialized UX and UI design. So that's all.
Uh,
There's nothing much more to say.
okay, so we have understood about what are the roles that we have in product companies, like a UX designer, UI designer, and there are people who are actually designing the whole product. So if someone is not that much into coding and not that much into tech side, so I think that's a really good place if they are creative enough to get started with their tech career, right? So now let's understand like how to get started with UX designing. If someone is interested, how they can start their career, and if they are just need to learn about UX, so what is the correct pathway to learn that?
Okay, so this one thing that I would just want to clarify in the initial is in the starting. So like if you talk about fundamentally, so design and tech are two different things. When a person is working on the tech, they should completely focus on their tech work, and a person when they are working on the design, they should completely focus on the design. Why am I saying this thing? Because when the tech people come into the design, there's one thing that most of them worry about, and that is the feasibility. Like whenever, like it is highly suggested that when you're working as a designer, you should not at all think about the feasibility in the starting time. Just think only about the user, and if the problem that you're working on, the solution, if it is working for the user or not, and if it is working, if it is solving the problem or not. Just do not think about the feasibility in the initial time. However, when you will take that solution to the tech team, thinking about the feasibility of that thing will be the complete headache of the tech team. You should not think about that. So the very basic fundamentals of a tech person and a design person are completely different. Now to take the trade-off of this thing is the responsibility of the product manager. It is completely dependent on the product manager, whatever they want to do. Answering your second question on how can a person start with the design. So like if you would talk about how can a person start with product design or UI UX design. So like when how I started my journey, so it was more of like I started building some basic designs. I started understanding how does Figma work, because like Figma is the software that most of the companies are using nowadays. So I started understanding how Figma works. I took up some of the tutorials on the YouTube. There are many amazing YouTube channels on which you can understand or um, like learn more about Figma. And if I wanted to understand more about the design principles on the larger end, so I did one of the design courses on. It was on Coursera. The name of the course was Interaction Design Specialization from UC San Diego. There is also another course which has been added just now, a few months back, which is the Google UX Fundamentals for the product design, that thing. So UX also, Google also has one of the courses on Coursera. So yeah, you can do those courses. Those courses are very amazing, and they are very comprehensive. If you would see if you would do those. One suggestion that I would give to any person who are doing those courses, there are assignments on every course after every week. Do that or do that assignment with your utmost attention and your capabilities. Try to do it as if you are doing it for yourself, obviously, because like there are many people who are just doing assignments in order to gain the certificate or like just in order to complete the course. That is not something that even matters in the industry, to be honest. What matters is like the assignments that you have done and how you have done those. Second thing that I would suggest is do those assignments, document them, and publish it on LinkedIn or any other platform that you feel is good. It might be Behance as well, it might be Medium as well. But publish it, show it to the people, show it to the other industry leaders who might just see your process, who just might want to understand how you have solved the problem. They might have some of the feedback. Some of the feedback might be bad, some of the feedback might be good. That is completely upon you how you want to comprehend those. But there will be feedbacks. And Why am I saying that it is important for you to publish it? Because when you will do the assignment, thinking that you need to publish it, you will do it with more attention. Because at the end of the day, you need to show it to someone. You need to do it in a way that it is presentable, that it is something that you can tell the world, see, this is mine. If it is bad, it is mine. If it is good, it is mine. You just need to take the ownership of your work. So that is one thing that you need to understand through those courses. And like take the feedbacks. Any person whosoever comments in any way, just understand, discuss with them. Do not really, I would say, argue with them, because like arguing on design is not something that I feel is a healthy practice. Because like design, at the end of the day, there's no design which is good. There's no design which is bad. Whichever design works for the users is good, and whichever design uses a basic design principle, it is good for the users. But like obviously there is a lot of subjectivity in the design at the end of the day. There might be some of the amazing industry leaders who might feel that your design is not good, your design might not work. They might have their own rationale. Understand them. Why do they feel that way? Experiment it, test it with the user. You'll get the right feedback. Then yeah, your design is good. That's it. So yeah, these are some of the things that I would highly suggest for a person who is starting with a course. Um, there is another thing that I would suggest people is that start observing more. Start looking out for different apps. So he is one of the good apps. Um, there are many other good apps in the industry. Like just start looking out for them. YouTube or WhatsApp. Like try to understand why the elderly people are so you can say happy working on WhatsApp. It is so easy to use for them. There are many products or many technical products that the elderly people are not able to use. But why are they able to use YouTube or WhatsApp? But exactly is so amazing in WhatsApp and YouTube that they have made their experience so easy for the elderly people without hampering the experience of the younger generation as well. Try to think about that. Try to take up the notes of those things. Try to reverse engineer those designs. So those might be some of the things which are helpful for the people in the long run.
That's pretty insightful, Vaibhav. And those courses and their links, I will put that in the description below. Definitely go and check those courses. They are going to definitely help you a lot. And talking about like getting the right mentorship, like getting the right feedback. So, what do you suggest? Like, what are the communities that people should join? How to get the best mentor, or how to find a mentor online? So what are your suggestions? Because mentor plays a very important and a crucial role when you are actually getting started with anything, any learning. It should be under the guidance of any mentor. I believe that that would be the right way to learn any new thing. So what are your perspective? Like how to get these, how to find a good mentor, and how to join some communities, or any form is there. Please do share that as well.
Okay, so like one of the first things, one of the most formal ways that you can find a good mentor is adplist.com. adplist.com is one of the communities where there are many amazing mentors out there, like which are across the globe. You can simply start talking to one of the designers who is in USA, Germany, Canada, in fact in India, like anywhere you want to talk, you can get to interact with any of the 5 years plus experienced designer. They can help you understand how industry works, how design works. They will have their own amazing experiences to share to you. But like another thing, before looking out for mentorship, is for you to be very much sure about design as your career. Because like at the end of the day, any mentor would be willing to help you only when they feel that you are a person who is worth putting in efforts. Like there are many people who just start design for the sake of it, because like they
Hmm.
are doing design degree, or like maybe they have got into design, they just feel that design is good for them. I don't really feel that it is good enough. You need to be hungry enough for the knowledge. You need to be hungry enough for the feedback. Try to show it to your mentor.
Hmm.
Like wherever you find a mentor, you might find it on AWS, you might find it on LinkedIn, you might find it maybe in your own company. Like one of the great mentors that I found was my company senior. Like my first company, there was one of my seniors. So he had a lot of knowledge. He had a lot of amazing things for me to learn. But like for me to learn a lot of things from him, was really important for me to be hungry enough to gain knowledge from him. I used to be the person who simply used to call him or like just reach out to him to just discuss. You see, like this is the design in Paytm, this is the design in PhonePe. Why do you feel that there is a difference in between those? Don't you think like Paytm should use this feature, PhonePe should use this feature? What do you think might be the reason behind this? Let us just discuss about this thing. Let us have a basic discussion upon this thing. And we used to do our basic discussion over coffee or over chai on these design things. So this is what a mentor looks out for. And at the end of the day, when the if my mentor used to find anything interesting that might be useful for me, he simply used to share it with me. So that is the bond that a mentee needs to make with a mentor.
Hmm.
Because like there is a like idiom in Hindi, प्यासा कुएं के पास जाता है, कुआं प्यासे के पास नहीं आता है. So if you are the person who is seeking for mentorship, you always need to be hungry and proactive in your work. Even if at the end of the day they have given you some assignment or some work to do it with your utmost you can say efficiency or proficiency. Bring in the best solution that you have. Bring in as many iterations as much. Bring in as many rationals as you can. So that is one of the things that I would ask any of the mentees in the longer run. Be hungry to learn anything, because in maybe in the future when you will also be a mentor, you will be willing to help those people who are really hungry to gain knowledge. There will obviously be some people who will even then be giving you knowledge, but yeah, those are also some of the people. So yeah, that is my whole thing about the mentorship.
That's pretty insightful. Like how you understand the mentor and mentee relation. Like getting the formal mentor is not the only thing that you should look for. You actually have to make something connect that helps you in both ways. So that's pretty insightful, Vaibhav, and kind of learning as well. If I'm actually looking for some mentor, looking for some knowledge, there should be something that makes us connected always. So now let me talk about what are your perspective on personal branding, like how that plays a very important role in getting you great opportunities, because most of the people don't focus, I believe, don't focus that much into the personal branding. They have some great projects, they have some great knowledge, but they don't share with others as well. So if someone looking for that thing, and that was hidden in somewhere inside you, you are going to miss those opportunities. So because I have seen you posting a lot of things on LinkedIn, I love your designs that you have shared. Their clips are really amazing. So I would like to know like how this is going to help others as well.
Okay. So personal branding as a whole, I would say that it is completely a personal choice for a person. I would not really say that every person who is knowledgeable enough or who feel that they are amazing should really get into personal branding, even if they do not feel like that thing. So personal branding as a whole is a very, very different thing in a larger perspective. We would see there are many people who might be amazing in their core skills, but they might just not be willing enough to do personal branding. On the other hand, there might be some people who are not that good on their hard skills or their core skills, but even then they would be looking out for the personal branding. So that is a completely a personal choice. That is completely a very, very different tangent towards that thing. But for the people who are getting into the personal branding, how I see these things as are, you are building a community at the end of the day. For any personal branding person, they start off their journey by building a community which is built accordingly. Like the people who are in that community must feel amazing, must feel good, must feel safe that they are a part of this community, must feel enlightened for everything that they're contributing or everything that they're getting out of this community. So this is one thing that I feel for any person who is building a personal brand. The reason why I post most of the things on social media is again the reason why I just mentioned in the starting. I need to just show my work to the people. I just want their feedback. Obviously, it might not be possible that I will be able to incorporate all the feedbacks that I get on the social media, but I will just get to understand a different perspective towards something. If you are just making things in silos, you might just not end up getting the best perspective or different perspective on your work. Getting different perspective on a work is really, really very important. Maybe that is why design industry as a whole is very enriching at this point of time, because there are many people who are coming from different backgrounds in design industry as of now. They are, and this actually helps a lot. Seek a problem from a different perspective.
Mhm.
Um, Personal branding, again, it is a personal choice. Some people do not like posting their work. That is completely cool. Some people like posting their work. That is completely cool. Um, but again, if you're posting your work, you should always and always be very tolerant in accepting the feedback. There will be many people who will just simply say that the work that you've done is shit. People will say that the work you have done is very bad. You should simply just leave design. You should not never be a designer.
Mhm.
There are many feedbacks that you might consider like receive that, but that is where you start to build the tolerance in yourself. Because when you will get in the company, the day you will be showing your designs to the boardroom, the different stakeholders, they will be ready to tear you off with with their suggestions, with their feedbacks. You need to be ready with your feedback. You need to be ready with your reactions. You need to be ready with your answers without losing your cool. That is how you um, become a good, I would say, team member as a whole, not just a designer, but a team member. Because you need to convince people whatever you have done, and that will only come in when you will practice that thing. So I would say that social media is one of the practice arena for that thing also. You can practice different thing, you will get different perspectives. So you will be ready for the rationals
Mhm.
with your rationals. So yeah, that is all about
Yeah,
personal branding and
yeah,
design.
that's a nice perspective towards using our social media, not always just for the personal branding, but also you can get a lot of suggestion. You are going to connect with a lot of people out there. And in my past experience, I have also worked in the design part, and I have also shared my design with the stakeholders. And definitely I can relate with you, like that was very you are going to talk with a lot of different people from different perspectives. So some of the people don't understand design, some of the people have some different suggestions. So you have to just understand their requirements, and then you have to answer in a smart way. So totally understood, Vaibhav. Really greatly portrayed. So now let's moving ahead. Like we have understood about working on design and understanding the design. What are some of the things that a designer should have in their portfolio? Like that should be their dribble account or maybe their personal website. What do you think should be the best way to go with?
It completely depends on what role you are looking for. If you are looking for a UI design job in the longer run, then maybe your visual work should be very good. Your visual work might be portrayed through Dribble, through Behance, or maybe some other platform, whichever you have used for that thing. If you are looking out for a role in UX design, then your documentation should be really very good. For that medium or Behance would be really very good. Um, and if you're looking out for a UX research job, then your complete documentation, your process that you follow should be really very good. So for that instance, Medium would again be really very good. So yeah, the first thing is that you just need to be focused on which role you're looking for in the longer run. Secondly, what are good to have in your portfolio? Just have like 2 or 3 good projects which you are really really very confident about. Like you just need to show you just need to give a presentation on your case study, your portfolio. Just take through one of the projects, give them the entire journey, on like how you understood the problem, how you started tackling that problem, what were your failures, what were your understanding, what were your learning, how did you validate different problems, discuss about the different instances when you did testing or when you did the problem solving. Just give one of the anecdotes that you had while discussing it with the different stakeholders.
Mhm.
One thing that I've learned in the recent times is that like the more you start to show your personal experience while working on one of the projects, like sharing the basic instances, basic very simple anecdotes that you had to share while solving a problem. The more you add these things into your presentation, the more natural your work seems to them, because there are many people in the industry who present the work of other people and show it as their own, and they fail when the interviewer starts to cross question them, like how did you come into this thing, Why do you feel that this decision is taken? Why have you shown this CT over here? Why this copy? Why this layout? So you need to be ready with all of those answers, and you can be ready with those answers only when you have worked entirely on that project on your own. You need to have that confidence on the work that you are showing, that see, this is the work that I've done. I have the complete answers to this thing, and I'm completely confident about this thing. So these are some of the things that you need to be ready.
Mhm.
One again very important thing for a designer or any person who is working in a team, especially for the creative people, your storytelling abilities should be very good. Like when you're explaining your idea, when you're explaining your designs, engross the audience as much as you can. Because if you are losing the audience, you might even lose the opportunity of getting your idea implemented. So engross the audience. Tell them why do you feel that your design is good. Tell them why do you feel that the design that you have shown would work. What are your rationals? What are your hypotheses? Why are you so much confident on your thing? Even if you are not confident on your own work, no one else will be.
Yeah.
So that is really very important. And always, like this is something that I guess we have also learned in theater that we did in college. Theater actually helped us in this thing on how can we improve our storytelling ability, how can we actually engross the audience. So this is something that I've learned from the theater experience that I had also. So I'm like I would not really say that I'm very amazing over this thing, but yeah, I have some basic skills on this thing, like how to engross the audience and how to communicate the basic ideas that I have in my mind.
Yeah, definitely. Communication plays a vital role in any of the role you are actually playing. Like if you are not that much good, your communication make you the perfect person. So in terms of working and getting shared your thought exactly what you want to share is a kind of a skill in itself, because most of the
And
times
also, like one more thing, your story should needs to be very on point. It needs to be very crispy. Do not try to incorporate unnecessary things in your storytelling, because when at the end of the day you are going to present your work to different stakeholders of the company,
hmm,
people do not have enough time. They have only 15 minutes that they have allotted for you. They have many more meetings in the day. They have very less mental space to comprehend whatever you are saying. So try to be on point as much as possible. That is also one important
yeah, definitely, definitely that is the most important thing. If you're actually communicating, making to the point very quickly is something that is required in the corporate you are working in. Okay, and so what are your suggestions on some of the places where a designer can find the jobs, LinkedIn, whatever you want to share?
thing. LinkedIn is one of the best ways for you to get the best jobs that you want to work for. Now, finding a job on LinkedIn is not something how people see it is. People just feel that if there is an opening on LinkedIn, they will just apply on that job, they will just give their portfolio, and they will be done. That is not how things work, to be honest. There are many barriers in this thing when you're finding a job. The very first barrier is that many good companies have a ATS in their recruitment process. So what it actually does is that it tries to match the keywords of the job description for which there is job opening and your resume. So they will just start to match the keywords. If they will find like certain amount of threshold which has been crossed in the word matching, only then your resume will be shortlisted. Otherwise, your resume is not shortlisted.
Yeah,
So that is one of the first things. So do not try to just submit the same resume to every company. That is not how things work. Try to incorporate more of the keywords that are there in the job description. So that is first thing. Secondly, your resume should never be in the JPG format. It should be in the PDF format or
yeah,
maybe in the Word format, so that this is scanning is compatible. It is not compatible on the PNG or JPG. So that is also one thing. It should always and always be in PDF.
yes,
Um, Another thing is that your portfolio should comprise of almost all the projects that you have done till now. Um, like largely. your major projects. There should be some of your small works as well, but the importance, more importance, should be given to your major projects. Um, Another thing on how to approach on like approach to the different people for finding a job. Try to reach out to maybe the hiring managers or also some mid-senior folks of the design of that particular company.
Yeah.
Reach out to them on LinkedIn. Let them know why do you feel that you want to work in that company. Why do you feel that you are the good fit for this company? um, Cover letter is what they call this thing. Cover letter is a very very important thing for you to stand out from all the other applications, because like as much as you are looking for a job, they are also looking for you.
Yeah.
They are also looking for a good candidate for their company.
Mhm.
For them the stakes are also very high, because if they really want to recruit a very very good talent, and you also want to get into a good company, so that day you will start to understand like the this sense of want is equal on both the sides.
Yeah.
They are also looking for a good person, right? So reach out to them with complete positivity, reach out to them with confidence, reach out to them with all the proof of work that you have. See, this is my work. I want to work in this company because I feel that this product is very good. I've seen the work of different people in this company, and I feel that if I will come into this company, I will be able to learn and deliver as well in the longer run. See, these are my needs. I want to learn. I want a good community. I want a good environment to work in. And your requirements are that you need a good work. You need a hardworking person. You need a person who is always ready with the deliverables on the time. So I am that thing. Your needs are there. My needs are there. And I feel that if I will be coming to this company, both of those things will be matched. So we are a complete great match. We should actually start talking about more upon these things. If you reach out to the right person, there are very high chances that they might also not look into your resume. They might also just look your for portfolio for once, and your conversation will start
Yeah.
getting onto the place. Your first interview will be there. Then, if you are able to impress them with your work, if you are able to impress them with your personality, you might get into the second round. Then maybe to the final company. So this is how you need to approach on finding a good job.
Mhm.
Do not go for quantity in the initial time. Look out for the quality. Reach out to more and more good people with the right intention. There are many people who just start applying for every company as a whole. They just see any opening, they just apply for it with the same resume that the same portfolio that they have, and that is how they start to lose the opportunity over there. I feel if you want one good job, there are many. Just reach out to those good jobs. There will be many rejections initially. You will start to question yourself, like, even if am I even good enough? Or where am I going wrong? Start to look out for feedbacks from the recruiters. Start to understand why do you feel you were not the good fit. Start working on them. So this process will go on and on, but you will start learning things. You will start to gain confidence on yourself. You will obviously look out for, you will face many rejections, but yeah, obviously that is a part of the process. For some, it might go beyond 6 to 7 months. For some, it might just be 2 to 3 months, but they will find their dream job. So yeah, that is how I feel a person should look out for their
Def-
dream job.
Definitely. Rejection are the part of your journey. So don't feel like this is not good for me. That's a part actually. And that's a pretty insightful conversation with Vaibhav. It was really nice having you on the channel, and definitely our viewers have learned a lot of things with you. So any last remarks that you want to share with our audience? Do please share.
Um, I have one of the things. So, like all of the things that I've learned in these 2 years about the design, or like how you can find a design job, or like how you can actually learn design, or how what were the things that I learned design through. I've written a very comprehensive article on this thing on Medium. So I will share that link with you. You can put it in your description, and like people can actually have a look at it. So
Hmm.
all of the comprehensive things, all the books that I've referred to, all the courses that I've referred to, all of the practices that I practice every day, like do every day in order to understand more about design or practice more design. So I have put all of those things in that article.
Hmm.
So any person who is looking out for understanding design from the scratch, or maybe the people who have started with a career in the design, they have crossed their 1 year or 1.5 year or maybe 6 months, they can refer to that article. That is really, really very helpful and very comprehensive. So I will give the link to you. You can put it in the description.
Surely, I will add all of those links of courses and the comprehensive article as well as the social handle of Vaibhav in description below. Definitely go and check out his article and do connect with him. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for joining. It's a really nice talking to you. We'll definitely connect later. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks a lot, Omraj. It was a great talk. Yeah, we will join again soon.
Definitely.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a nice day.